Number one for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan. Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Drive Time. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back in the saddle once again. It is the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk for you each and every afternoon as you make your way around the great state of South Carolina and beyond, listening to us on incredible radio stations like Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands, but around the world on the iHeart radio application. And what a delight today. Former Clemson Tiger Tony Horne joins us on his way back from Tiger Town. As a matter of fact, Tony, what you doing up there in Clemson today?
I've seen that Terrell McIntyre was on the coaching staff now, so I was like, man, listen, I definitely got to get him down to Clemson to this basketball camp. Not only did I want him to come to Clemson, it would be great, if my nephew can get a scholarship or however it works out that, he step on the same ground that I, put my feet on my college days. So that would be a nice experience to see him, go through what I went through at Clemson.
Well, I think so many people think about the dynamic playmaker that you were during your time in Tiger Town. And, at that point, back in the late 90s, it was kind of rare to have a wide receiver that was taking over a game. That's changed a lot now. But, what was it about your game you think that made you so successful at the collegiate level?
Honestly, man, I was just a football player. My thing was, you put the balls in my hands, I'm going to make plays happen. But to be honest, Clemson always been a wide receiver U. I know they talk about the wide receiver U now, but back in the days, we had a lot of great receivers. We just didn't throw the ball much as they did now. But in my eyes, Clemson always had great receivers. Clemson always been a receiver U to me. We just didn't throw the ball back then like that. But like I said, you put the balls in my hands, I'm going to make a play because I was a high school quarterback and I was just a football player. I just wanted to play football and have fun.
Tony Horne, former Clemson Tiger, hanging out with us here today, talking about his career in Tiger Town. And, Tony, I think for guys our age, that matchup between you and basically Peter Warrick, I know it was Clemson and Florida State, but that day it felt like there were two guys on the field going back and forth.
Man, I still hear about this game today. I still tell my nephews about it, and my brother, he still talks about it a lot. But it felt like we was in a tunnel, just me and him going back and forth. That's what it felt like. Of course, at the time, it wasn't all about me. I just wanted to win. I was just trying to do whatever I had to do for us to win. So that was my biggest mindset. I just wanted to win that game.
Well, and I also, look back, too, about the league and maybe Clemson at that point, and it really did feel like, right, Florida State comes in the early 90s. They were one of the top programs in the country. Clemson had kind of been there in the 80s, won the title in 81, was always maybe punching up out of their class a little bit. And that day, that moment, it felt like one of those games where you could kind of see definitively that Clemson was now landing athletes like yourself that were going to make them much more competitive against the Seminoles.
I think the biggest difference, Clemson always has the, the skill position players. I think the biggest difference back in the days when I went and now, it was the difference between the D-line, our D-line and Florida State. They always had a great D-line. Our D-line, we had some great D-linemen or whatever, but it was like Clemson, we had more of the skill. We had a lot of skill position players that could match with anybody in the ACC, basically. I think the difference was just, the D-line. and some of our defensive backs.
Tony Horne, former Clemson Tiger wide receiver, with us here on the program today. And Tony, I also have to ask you from the standpoint of being a former student athlete and a former player at Clemson, what has this run, 2 national titles, what has that meant to you as a guy that poured your blood, sweat, and tears into that program at one point in your life?
Oh man, it meant a lot to me. I mean, it was great to see Clemson get back to the traditional where, we was the talk of the national championship team. I mean, it's a big difference between having a good team and a national championship team. And so that, it feels great because wherever you go, everybody's talking about Clemson again. And one of the special things with me doing, when I was paralyzed, it was like I watched them grow. I watched them lose a national championship. I watched them win a national championship. So it was like, man, here we go again. And to know that, like guys like Brandon Streeter was on, coaching with the team, that made it more interesting. Because, like for myself, being an old former player, we really didn't get back to, to do stuff with the organization a lot. So it just made me feel good to see, coaches like Brandon Streeter was on the coaching staff because he was there when I was there. So he pretty much knew like that blood, sweat, and tears that we had put in, like Danny Poole, Coach Joey Baxter. So I was happy for those guys. So they've been through the thick, they've been through the thin, and now that they're at the top. You got to give those guys the credit, man, because, if it weren't for Coach Baskin and Danny Poole, then it wouldn't be no national championship because Danny Poole, he take care of those guys, and we hardly ever had injuries. And if it weren't for Coach Baskin, where would we be? So to me, I give a lot of credit to those guys because that's the foundation. It all starts in the weight room, and it all starts in the training staff. So to me, that's the foundation, and the foundation has always been there since I was there. The coaches just revolved through the doors.
Tony Horne, former Clemson Tiger wide receiver, the game we were talking about earlier against Florida State in 1997, 10 catches, 131 yards, and just an unbelievable day. 2 kick returns for 105 yards. He's all over the field that night. But you mentioned it, and I'm sure, or that afternoon, you mentioned it, and I think some people probably heard it. You said, when I was paralyzed, 2017, Tony, you had a car accident. People may not have known that. Explain what you've been through from then until now.
Oh, man, a lot of people, they see me walking now, like I'm 100% and I'm good, but, it's never the case. It's like, still in therapy, still have a lot of, nerve issues, like a lot of stiffness and stuff like that. But, man, it's been a long journey to go from being independent, one of the fastest athletes in the world, and just being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. So it's just a journey, It kind of changed my life, but I try not to think about it. I just keep it going, just keep moving, keep it moving. So that's one of the things I have to tell myself every day, even when I'm not feeling up to par, feeling like I can make it this day. That's just to tell myself, look what you've been through, look what you overcame. Because like I said, I was paralyzed from the neck down. I couldn't even lift a napkin. That's how weak I was. So I was basically a baby all over again. So I wanted to give God thanks for being a baby all over again to where I was to where I am now. It's just, I just hope I can motivate somebody, somebody seeing my story or know what I've been through. Then, I know life is hard nowadays. I just, if they can see what I've been through and see what I continue to go through, then they can just, overlook some of the small things in life and take, some stuff for granted, like just waking up, just being appreciative of that. There's a lot of people out here that's going through what I went through, and a lot of people have lost hope. So, got to remember this. You got to keep hope alive, no matter what you're going through, no matter what the situation looks like. Just believe and keep hoping you can make it.
Tony, do you think your career, being a college athlete, being an undrafted NFL guy that ends up having a successful career, gets a Super Bowl victory with the St. Louis Rams, I mean, did some of that, your athletic life and what kind of drove you from Richmond High School to Clemson to the NFL, did that also come into play just in kind of feeling like, okay, I've overcome a lot of odds in my life and I can figure out and work hard to try to overcome this as well?
I mean, that's what it was all about. It was basically about my life, growing up, like you said, what I had to overcome to get to Clemson, what I had to overcome to get to the NFL, how hard I had to put, the work I put in. Like, that's what it was all about. Not giving up, not settling for less, not believing what they told you what you was going to be or how it was going to play out. So, it was all about everything I went through in life, from being a kid to going to the NFL, just overcoming, working hard, and never giving up. That was the key. That's what made me get back up on my feet, I just couldn't see myself not being able to walk again. I couldn't see myself giving up, realizing, okay, I'm going to be in this wheelchair forever, with, losing hope. So that's exactly what it was all about.
Former Clemson Tiger wide receiver Tony Horne with us here, Super Bowl champion with the St. Louis Rams, as I mentioned. Tony, the other thing I would ask you is this: now that this happened to you, and you mentioned people giving up hope, there's always that concern that I think athletes have for helping get back to the community and doing what they can. I mean, are you spending time in rehab facilities motivating other people that are going through it, saying, hey, look, you can do this? I mean, how are you helping the population of individuals who are dealing with paralysis?
Well,
as somebody watching,
I know a couple of people that's actually going through. I had a cousin that was in a bad car accident probably last year. He's going through it right now. But I usually go back to the Shepherd Center. Actually, I was going to be a volunteer at the Shepherd Center in Atlanta on Peachtree. But when the pandemic came around, it was kind of hard getting back to the hospital, helping people, because they really wasn't, letting anybody in on the floors because of, the danger of them catching the coronavirus and our system being so weak and it's so hard to overcome. So it's kind of been, basically I kind of been waiting on the world to open back up so I can really get back into these places to help motivate people and to help tell my stories and let the people, the quad and disabled people see me and let them understand and hear my story. So, to get them motivated, like, God, this guy, he was in the same situation I was in. So if he can do it, I want to be able to give them hope, not only verbal, but, physical, so they can see it. It's important that they see it. Once they see it, they'll believe it, because if you would have told me, like, I wouldn't have believed it. I would have had to see it. So, in this field, it's a lot about them seeing you, seeing your walk, seeing your body, seeing your movement. And then I think once they, see myself, seeing, knowing where I came from, and like I said, hearing my story, it'll give them more hope and inspiration that they can do it themselves.
Tony, do you watch the game of football now and think how lucky some guys are that a hit that they make doesn't, lead to a similar result, like, paralysis? I mean, there's a lot of hits in football that make me cringe. I can't imagine that you don't watch the game and go, man, that looked like a bad one.
To be honest, I just really started back watching football. I had gave up on football probably before my wreck. I had gave up on football. It was just, I really didn't understand the game and where it was going. Like you said, the different injuries, the different concussions. Because,
So in your opinion, in your opinion, Tony, the game's changed a lot. I mean, it's a completely different ball game than when you played.
It's definitely a completely ball game. I don't think it's more physical. I just think the guys are more bigger and faster, and the rules has changed.
Show college.
But when I played, I think the game was
Show college.
physical. Even like, in the NFL, the rules have changed for us. Like, okay, you can only be on the field this many days. You can only be on the field this many hours. You can only have contact this many days. You can only have contact this many hours. So the physical part, I think it was more physical back in the days when I played.
Show college baseball during the year.
Bigger, faster, and stronger. I think, the guys are different now. Different generation. Definitely.
Just a couple of more minutes with Tony Horne again, former Clemson Tiger wide receiver. So the other thing, too, that's changed a lot since me and you were in school there together, Tony, is just Death Valley and the football operations complex. I mean, as a former player, when you see that, the indoor facility, are you just like going, holy cow, these guys have no idea how lucky they are?
Listen, I was in the NFL. And I've never seen an indoor facility. I was telling my brother this yesterday. I said, bro, I was in the NFL, and I've never seen a 100-yard indoor facility with a 80-inch Jumbotron in a practice facility. They don't even have that in the NFL. So to come back and really see, the weight room and the weight room and the whole organization in Death Valley Memorial Stadium, that was big to me. See, it's different. Like now, yesterday when I'm walking around campus, I'm like, man, this is unbelievable. Like it's hard to believe. So it's different. It's very different.
Tony Horne again. Final thing for you, Tony, and we'll get you on your way. We always appreciate catching up with our former Clemson Tigers and love being able to tell your story. So being there in Tiger Town, I mean, did you get a chance to see Dabo Swinney? Did you get a chance to talk to him? I mean, this program is probably more about the guys that were there now than at any point in a long time. I mean, did you have a chance to talk with Coach Swinney?
I really haven't. I met Coach Swinney once. I don't even think I introduced myself to him. Like, hey, I'm Tony Horne. I was just at I think I came down to an alumni barbecue, and we just happened to click. We got a couple words, but I don't even think I introduced myself to him. I think I met. That was the crazy part. I think I met him probably like when he first came to Clemson. I had brought my son to a football camp and everything, but just to sit down and have a conversation with him, I never had a conversation with Coach.
Final thing for you. NIL. I mean, that's the big topic. Name, image, and likeness, and players, being able to get compensated for their, for going out and talking about somebody's business, whatever. Do you like that for players, or do you think that it's not good for the sport, so to speak?
To be honest, I kind of like it, but in my eyes, if you're gonna pay one person, everybody on the team should get paid. I don't think they should get over $1,000 a month. I think every player should get $1,000 each month. Not the star players, the walk-on players, the third team, the fourth team, the whole entire team should get just $1,000 a month. That's it. And the only reason I say that, yeah, it's true you get a scholarship. Yeah, it's true you pay for room and board, but you earn that, and within that year or two, the school has recouped that money back. So that's the only reason I say, they should pay the players only $1,000, no more than $1,000. But if you're gonna pay one person, pay the whole entire team.
Hey, I know it was a long time ago, but my dad gave me $300 a month, and I live like a king.
And a player like myself, I didn't have that $300 a month, so I needed that NIL money, right? When I was at Clemson. So we got
I heard that.
We got through it.
Tony Horne, former Clemson Tiger wide receiver. Tony, take care, man. Thank you for sharing your story with our audience.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
There you go. And Tony's got a show called Our Power, WDRB Media, and he said you could catch that on the iHeart Radio app. So check that out on the iHeart Radio app. Give Tony a little follow with the show that he's doing as well. All right, we got a break coming up. We'll hit it. Stay with us for more Clemson Sports Talk.
Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
As we start our Wednesday evening commute to go home, there's no traffic accidents or tie-ups, and there'll be less traffic on Harbison Boulevard because they're tearing down the Chick-fil-A. They'll probably move it someplace else, but that was always a traffic nightmare trying to get into that place. From the 103.5 FM WVLC Traffic Center, I'm Gary Mills with Columbia's most dependable traffic.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Hey, DQ fans, make sure to cast your vote for the official combo meal of MLB at DQ.com. With Tim Anderson's Burger and Blizzard Meal and Bryce Harper's Burger and Blizzard Meal, you just have to try both. Vote for your favorite at DQ.com. Happy tastes good.
Make this the year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Right now, Capital One cardholders get first dibs on tickets to our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Only available while supplies last or until Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So don't miss it. Plus, add a Capital One Access Pass to your purchase to attend a VIP event with a private performance from Avril Lavigne. Only available during the cardholder presale.
Presale tickets are limited and will go fast at iHeartRadio.com/Capital One.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Hey everyone, I'm CJ Toledano.
And I'm Alex Wong. If you want a podcast about the NBA and everything that's taking place off the court, I'm talking about fashion, I'm talking about social media, I'm talking about favorite post-game quotes, we've got you.
You know we're talking about starter jackets, Alex.
Yeah, I know, and you're going to remind me about the Charlotte Hornets one that my parents never bought me.
Ooh, I'm sorry about that.
Anyways, check out Running the Break with CJ and Alex on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
Attention, anyone shopping for a new Jeep, turn up your radio now. Announcing the special order $1 sales event at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. Here's how it works. Visit Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone and order the exact Jeep you want. Put just $1 down. Plus, we'll give you a $1,000 special order discount. No limitations, no exclusions. Just order any Jeep model, any Jeep trim level, and it's yours for just $1 down and $1,000 off MSRP. Best of all, your price is locked in and you're protected against a Jeep price increase. Other Jeep dealers are charging tens of thousands of dollars over MSRP. But right now, you can order the exact Jeep you want for just $1 down and $1,000 below MSRP.
Gotta go to Galliana.
$1 down, $1,000 below MSRP Jeep sales event at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. I-126 Zoo Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or GallianaSC.com. Example 2022 Jeep Wrangler. $1 down, $618 per month for 60 months at 4% APR. Plus tax and tag includes $225 closing fee. Expires month end.
Don't miss this. Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's huge summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Carpet, rugs, upholstery, tile, and even air ducts. All 15% off. Use promo code Summer Sale at ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, the right way to clean.
Christian men and women see a need in their community and then they step up to help their neighbor out. Celebrating 25 years of service in Columbia, HomeWorks is a Christ-centered home repair ministry providing free home repairs for elderly, disabled, and veteran homeowners here in the Midlands and throughout South Carolina. Repairs are made through the service of volunteers ages 13 and up. Find out how you can volunteer or donate to help purchase materials for these vital repairs. Visit homeworksofamerica.org.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show now at 978-1832 or text 803-450-0086.
Back at it. It is the show that shakes the Southland, Clemson Sports Talk. I mean, how fun was that? Catching up with Tony Horne. 803-450-0086. Did not get into the fact that, because I want to do as much with Tony as possible, Clemson's hot recruiting continued, even though they lost Nathaniel Joseph yesterday, the former Clemson commit backing off of his pledge to the Tigers. We'll talk about that here in a second. But did not take long for Clemson to answer with an elite defensive lineman committing to Clemson earlier today. Vic Burley, the 4-star prospect out of Warner Robins, Georgia, Warner Robins High School, a young man who, I'll tell you what, the DNA of what you want on a defensive lineman, he's got it. Versatility. I think Nick Eason's landed a heck of a ball player for Clemson. And so the hot streak continues for the Tigers. I mean, they have been incredibly impressive over the past, couple of weeks. I mean, it's been wild how fast they've grown, or this recruiting class has grown like it's a child. Isn't it amazing how quickly they grow up? Look at them already walking. No, but how quickly this recruiting class went from, okay, does Clemson still have it, to you doggone right they do. I mean, that's where we are in a lot of respects at this point. You doggone right they do. And look, Nathaniel Joseph's decommitment, by all indications, we'll talk more about Burley in a minute, but by all indications, Nathaniel Joseph, a 4-star wide receiver out of the Miami area, is interested in taking his visits, and because of that, knows that he has to back off of his pledge. Now, he was recently in Tiger Town, and that was reiterated, to him that was the case. And so now you've got a kid who has decided that, hey, you know what? He's out of there, so to speak. He's going to go, see what else. But here's what I didn't like. A part of his statement that he put out, it did not sit well with me. And, I'm not here to bash players, and we don't know all the ins and the outs of it. But apparently there's been some influence on him to take it, to decommit and to back off from Clemson. And I guess not even rethink the Tigers. Here's what I said. First, I want to say thank God for everything I have today and the days to come, and for the countless blessings God gives me. But after talking things over with my family, we feel it is best for me to decommit and reopen my recruitment. He said, I want to thank Clemson and all of Clemson's staff for showing me love day in and day out. He said, I want to thank Coach Grisham for all the love he showed me and for taking a chance on me. This was a hard decision for me to make. And this is the part I don't like for a multitude of reasons. But anyway, he says, but some things took place that me and my family don't like. So I will be reopening my recruitment. Thank you, Clemson and Clemson fans. Recruitment 100% back open. And again, I don't know that necessarily precludes Clemson, but I think if the thing that you didn't like, and we don't know this, and I'll tell you, I have reached out to Nathaniel to try to connect with him. But if the thing you didn't like is that you can't take the visits, you kind of know that's the deal with Clemson, and that's the way it's set up. And Joseph was Clemson's first commit in the class. Now, the only other thing that I could think that could be that some things took place that me and my family didn't like, may have been Noble Johnson's commitment. Noble, a wide receiver as well. Maybe Nathaniel Joseph felt threatened by Noble Johnson. I mean, that's the only other thing I could kind of think of myself that would make any logical sense, so to speak. The good news is for Clemson is that with this commitment today from Vic Burley, albeit a defensive lineman, you went into Georgia for a kid with a Final Four that included the Bulldogs off of the heels of their national championship, and you got Victor Burley to come to Tiger Town. Burley's top four consisted of Clemson, Georgia, Michigan State, and Tennessee. But he decided he wanted to be all in Tiger Town. 803-450-0086. text line and phone line. Be a part of the show anytime, any place, anywhere. We always appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of this program. And again, Vic Burley, athleticism, speed, power, good reach. Quite frankly, everything you want to see. Everything you want to see from a prospect of his ilk, so to speak. And again, a lot of this goes back, much like the recruitment of Marcus Dixon, to the qualities that Clemson offers outside of the NIL germane. Vic Burley is a kid who sees the bigger picture as it pertains to his recruitment in his future, not just on the gridiron. And there's great value in that for Clemson, for Burley's future in Tiger Town. Because as you know, I contend that when you have a situation like this, when you have a kid that picks your school because of the right reasons, not off the field influence, whatever, to me, that probably is going to yield better results for that student on the field. Speaking of on the field, more specifically on the diamond, the baseball diamond, it looks like Clemson's got their man when it comes down to their new baseball coach. We'll touch on that when we get back. Plus, don't forget, coming up in just a little bit, our buddy John Blau from the Post and Courier joins the show in hour 2. Stay with us.
As the country bounces back from COVID and mask mandates are lifted, your business needs a lift too. Promote your company right here, right now. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM and FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Man, these South Carolina temps. Keep comfortable with a WilsonsAir.com weather update.
Another sweltering day in front of us. Yeah, a lot of sunshine. Back to the 100s, 111 with the heat index. Make sure you hydrate. For ABC Columbia Channel 25, I'm Tyler Ryan.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen.
When a community grows, its hospital should grow too. And that's just what we're doing at Lexington Medical Center. We recently launched the largest hospital expansion project in South Carolina history. Our new 10-story patient tower will help us take better care of patients, including the tiniest infants who need special attention. It will also make room for the growing number of patients who need surgery and intensive care. At Lexington Medical Center, our mission to serve our community never wavers. We're here when you need us today, and we'll be there when you need us tomorrow.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
By popular demand, Great Southern Homes now lists their coming soon communities online. Whether you're looking for a new home in your hometown, moving to a new town, or just want your pick of choice lots, this is the place to start. Great Southern Homes invites you to put the wow in your new home with options and upgrades. Live green, live smart in your new green smart home. Show your style and personalize your new home with options and upgrades from Great Southern Homes. Find your dream home today. GreatSouthernHomes.com.
Way back when, Columbia was a vast dining desert, a wasteland for fast, fresh, authentic Southwestern food. Weren't nothing bundled up nice and warm in a tortilla. Columbia needed Diablos. Southwestern the way you want it, the real deal, with no shortcuts in quality and served up as fast and fresh as you want it. Diablo Southwest Grill. Sunset Boulevard in Lexington. DiabloSouthwestGrill.com.
Hey, DQ fans, make sure to cast your vote for the official combo meal of MLB at DQ.com. With Tim Anderson's Burger and Blizzard Meal and Bryce Harper's Burger and Blizzard Meal, you just have to try both. Vote for your favorite at DQ.com. Happy tastes good.
This year marks the 60th anniversary of one of our state's real jewels, the Federation Center of the Blind, which is affiliated with the National Federation of the Blind of South Carolina. The center provides such key services as virtual and in-house computer training, job coaching, braille instruction, and much more. We invite you to join us by calling 803-254-3777 or by emailing nfbsc@sc.rr.com.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It's sports radio done only the way Fox can do it.
There's always something to talk about. There's always controversy. And
you're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Rocking and rolling with you, Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan. I mentioned before the break, it indeed looks like Clemson's going to get their guy. We've got it up over on ClemsonSportsTalk.com, according to multiple reports, including those out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Eric Bakich is going to be named Clemson's new baseball coach. I believe that's going to take place tomorrow. We should have more information on that coming up for you. I guess maybe in the next hours, who knows exactly how long that's going to take. But anyway, long story short, Bakich, who ends up at Michigan by way of a short stint at Maryland, has spent the past decade coaching the Wolverines. He finished as a runner-up in the College World Series back in 2019. Bakich additionally was a part of the staff at Vanderbilt under Tim Corbin for several years. Tim Corbin, of course, the former Clemson Tiger assistant coach under Jack Leggett. So some ties back to Jack Leggett, obviously. Also a successful run at a program like Michigan where you talk about the temperature, the weather, the beginning of the season, having to play so many games on the road. I mean, there are plenty of reasons not to be excited to be the head baseball coach at Michigan. I mean, that's a tough job, but Bakich did it. And it looks like Clemson is going to probably pay a pretty penny for him. We'll talk, as I mentioned, with John Blau. More about that coming up. Kendall Rogers, who was on the program with us a couple of weeks ago from D1Baseball.com, said that Michigan assistant Nick Schnabel, I believe, or Schnabel, Schnabel, will be coming to Clemson as well. And there's the potential of another maybe assistant or someone else outside of Schnabel who will be coming with Eric Bakich. So we'll see. During 10 seasons with the Wolverines, Bakich was 328-26, 2 Big Ten tournament titles, 5 trips to the NCAA. And again, I mentioned that runner-up finish back in 2019. He was D1 Baseball's Coach of the Year as well in 2019. So Clemson apparently has their guy, ties back to Jack Leggett. And I know for a portion of the fan base, that will be exciting because there is a group, and again, I think it's part of the group that really pressed Monty Lee and wanted to make a change at the top of this Clemson Tiger baseball program that looped back in some respects, fair or foul, that looped back to Jack Leggett and his time at Clemson. So we will see if indeed it is as everyone believes at this point, Eric Bakich. And I have not seen an official release from Clemson as of yet, but we've got the story up over on our website. And again, this is the nature of the sport, so to speak. If you don't get to the Super Regionals or the College World Series in 7 years as a head coach at Clemson in the baseball program, people are going to won't change. And Clemson didn't make it to a Super Regional with Monty Lee there. And again, that 2019 season, the 2020 season, the COVID-19 season, to me, sort of a wash. Like I don't make much of it heads or tails, quite frankly. I feel like it's a little bit unfair to really judge a lot of people based off of that year. Like Mike Martin Jr. Okay, I'll give you an example. Mike Martin Jr. at Florida State, to me, that's the guy that kind of got the raw deal. And that raw deal, I think, maybe played out because of Clemson's interest in Link Jarrett, the fact that he had not had success. But, man, 3 seasons, whatever? Like that, to me, that's not a big enough window, right? To me. But that's just me. 803-450-0086, text line, phone line. Again, you can be a part of this program anytime, any place, anywhere, in a multitude of ways. And we certainly thank you for hanging out with us and helping us continue to grow, help share the program. And again, we're trying to really ramp up our recruiting coverage for you. And it has been a hot couple of days for Clemson. There's no other way to say it, man. It's hot weather. It's hot recruiting. It's hot everywhere if you're talking about the Clemson Tigers at this point for me. But, yeah, as far as this coaching job goes, the seat will get hot in a hurry. And Bakich will be stepping into a similar situation. I said this about South Carolina's football program with Shane Beamer. The reality of this whole thing is that fans, love them or hate them, they carry over the years. Bakich does not show up without 7 years of struggling to reach the goals that people have for this program under Monty Lee. He might get a bit of a break because he's a Jack Leggett guy for a year. He might get a bit of a break because Tim Corbin's had boatloads of success at Vandy, and he was an assistant there for many years. But the fact is, the baggage and weight of not only Monty Lee's lack of success, Jack Leggett's end of his tenure, lack of success, is going to be on Bakich's shoulders, so to speak. And so because of that, people will want success quickly. The turnaround time. We'll talk with, I'll ask John Blau about this in hour number 2 when he comes on the show. What does that turnaround time look like? Like what's that timetable, so to speak? Because fans, I guarantee you, have a much different timetable than Coach Bakich will have about the program. Although maybe he says, hey, man, we got to get there in a hurry. And who knows, with the transfer portal and recruiting, maybe it can happen faster than expected. 803-450-0086. Listen, I can't believe we're almost done with hour 1. Tony Horne was on with us earlier. If you missed that, we'll play a little snippet of that in hour number 2, okay? So don't stress about it. We will give you a little bit of that in hour 2. Stay with us here for more of the show that shakes the Southland.
It's summertime at Galliana Kia on Greystone. And summertime is the best time to get out of your old car and upgrade to a cool new Kia. Featuring brand new Kias below MSRP. Like a 2022 Kia Rio LX, just $16,990. All new 2023 Galliana Kia Sportage LX, now in stock. Lease for just $259 per month. Plus, we'll give you exactly what your trade is worth, down to the penny. High mileage, cosmetic issues, unreliable, all trade-ins are welcome. So if you want to get out of your old car and upgrade to a cool new Kia, don't miss the summertime sales event.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana.
Galliana Kia. New Kias for sale below MSRP. Only at Galliana Kia on Greystone. I-126 Zoo Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 for KiaColumbia.com. Rio stock number 2K1124. Sportage stock number 3K3011. 36 months lease, $39.99 to Asani plus tax tag includes $225 closing fee. No security deposit subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
Stop avoiding your erectile dysfunction issue. Peak Performance for Men is offering their best offer yet. Call today to book your free consultation and free blood flow evaluation. Peak Performance for Men helps over 80% of men who receive the treatment experience long-term improvement. All it takes is one phone call for a free consultation and free blood flow evaluation. Call 803-302-8181. That's 803-302-8181.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Have you ever heard of the yips? What about the twisties? Join me, Justin Sua, for Losing Control, a new podcast about one of the strangest phenomena in sports, the yips, or when an athlete or elite performer suddenly finds themselves unable to do the thing that they do better than almost everyone else on the planet. That's Losing Control, a new podcast from Sports Illustrated Studios and iHeartRadio. Listen to Losing Control on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason a couple of years ago, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." When I asked him why, he said, "Because when I go outside to play, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was call my good buddy Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe. With their routine service plan, no more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. That's 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again. Lawton Swan here. And I know in sports, we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
Homeworks is a Christ-centered home repair ministry providing free home repairs for elderly, disabled, and veteran homeowners here in the Midlands and throughout South Carolina. Find out how you can volunteer or donate to help purchase materials for these vital repairs. Visit homeworksofamerica.org.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app. And on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeartRadio station.
Final segment here, hour number 1 of the show that shakes the Southland Clemson Sports Talk. Thank you for being a part of what we do. Again, College World Series getting set to begin this weekend and Friday, actually, and I know everybody's looking forward to kind of keeping their eyeballs on that. I do have beef. Is that the right word? I do have beef with the College World Series, and it's pretty simple. And it's less with the College World Series and more with ESPN because of what you're gonna have to go through as somebody watching. To me, it's the fact that ESPN will show this, but yet they never show college baseball during the year. I mean, that's something that's driven me crazy. I mean, that's something that has bothered me for years, is how the 4-letter network will cover the College World Series like it has been at the precipice of their very existence. And I'm not asking you, okay, I'm not asking you to completely change the way you do things. Like you don't have to do anything to pacify me, the fan of the game, the fan of postseason in a sport. But can we not pretend that college baseball has been all over every highlight. Like you'll see Scott Van Pelt will be running college World Series highlights like you've been seeing the college baseball. You've been seeing college baseball all season. That kind of stuff just drives me insane. I mean, when I come in here and tell you about college baseball, you'd think watching it that it was ESPN, the baseball network. Taking a look to Friday, 2:00, Oklahoma and Texas A&M on ESPN. Then at 7:00, Notre Dame and Texas facing off on Friday. Saturday's matchups begin at 2 as well, with Arkansas and Stanford. And then at 7:00, you've got Ole Miss and Auburn. 6 of the 8 teams, either SEC or future SEC teams. And, minus Tennessee, I kind of said this yesterday, and I think it's a kind of a fair way to think about it. Minus Tennessee, this feels kind of wide open. Feels kind of wide open. I don't know, quite frankly, who I think is the best team out there, or who's going to end up winning, because the SEC, I can't, I'm hesitant to call it a top heavy league, but with 6 out of 8 essentially, 4 out of 8 technically, I think that it could go anybody's way. The team that I've sort of leaned in on a little bit, and I don't know what it is about this ball club, and they got a tough game coming up against Stanford. But Arkansas, to me, just kind of has the vibe about their program right now. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of get a feeling. Now, on the other side, in the Friday games, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, and Texas, I don't necessarily, quote-unquote, love Notre Dame. But in order to beat the Tennessee team that they just beat, and the
interaction with the listeners
is against Texas, who look very vulnerable against East Carolina, Notre Dame might actually kind of have a little inside track from my standpoint, or from my opinion, on getting into the championship series here. Just a hunch, just a guess off the cuff, I'm going to take Notre Dame and Arkansas to line up in the championships. Might way too early. If this goes anything like my picks with the NBA, I'm in big trouble. It's not going to work out well, because my NBA picks have been atrocious. But you know what? I'm not the only one. I've heard several people talking about the fact that with their, with their discussions and selections of the NBA playoff and the championship series, more specifically, they've had to kind of rethink some of that. So again, a weird circumstance. 803-450-0086. I'm looking now at people. Hello, everybody. I cannot wait to get the show back live. I'm actually the Tony Horne interview just finished streaming online. So I'm saying what's up to everybody online, and can't wait to get everything rocking and rolling. The magic behind the curtain, if you will, here in hour number 1. And how good was that hearing from Tony Horne, man? What an awesome story. And again, he talked about his paralysis, the recovery from that, paralyzed from the neck down. And to recover is just an incredible story. And, I think about Christopher Reeve and even Ryan Shazier, and certainly the severity of neck injuries is different for so many people. But I think stories like a sense of opportunity that for, gosh, I mean, if you think about the amount of time humans have walked the earth to just this small moment in time when there's been an opportunity to maybe overcome paralysis and to improve, whether it's stem cell or look, this is, boy, you're getting way out of Dr. Swan's league here. But yeah, to hear his story, a testament to his recovery and the hard work he put in. All right, hour number 2, John Blau from the Post and Courier joins the program. With a quick break, we'll come back with more on the show that shakes the Southland. It is Clemson Sports Talk.